welcome to the Money Tree. I'm David Holt.
And I'm David Marks.
Dueling Daves, getting ready for
That's right.
summer to come to an
That's
end.
right. Here we are. Actually, I go back to work Thursday, so my summer's pretty much over.
Yeah, I'm back to work now, so it really doesn't matter.
Well, I still have things that I work on in time, but, I know it's probably really hard. Those who are getting up and have already gone to work this morning, probably not much sympathy from them on what we do. So
That's true. But you know what? Both of us have summer jobs because
Right.
we can't afford just having a regular job.
Right, because,
And then we're all about the money, saving the money,
We
right?
are. And, actually today we're going to talk about something that is coming up, which is back to school shopping.
There's a lot. I'm glad that my children are out of high school and I don't have to do that anymore.
Right. Well, back to school shopping is probably the parents' nightmare, or at least a parent's headache. So I would recommend parents, if you're going to be back to school shopping, buy yourself some Tylenol or migraine medicine, whichever one, Bear, whatever you prefer. Some type of aspirin.
True. And I've been seeing on social media all the schools are putting their supply list online. So they've got all kinds of stuff they want you to go buy certain things. And as a classroom teacher, there were certain things we needed in this classroom
Sure.
that, the state doesn't fund everything. When we
Right.
say public education,
Right.
free public education doesn't
Right.
fund everything. So main thing for me was just paper and pencil.
Sure. Well,
They just come with paper and pencil.
mine also. I would throw some additional things in there when I taught math. We both taught the same grade level, same content area. But I would always ask for maybe graph paper, things like that. So I would ask for a few additional items, but I tried to keep it as budget friendly as I could.
Yeah.
So, had a good week so far. Someone just celebrated a birthday.
Double fives. I'm 10.
So,
I may act like 10, but 55 feels pretty good. I was at the doctor yesterday for a checkup, and she said, "You don't look 55." I said, "Well,
that's a
thank
good compliment.
you." Yeah.
As long as she didn't add to, like, you look more like 75. That'll hurt a little bit.
Well, I used the weed eater this past week, and my back was. I may have felt like 75.
That's right. Maybe that's what we could go towards there. We want to take time before we get started to always thank Mountain Valley News. They're always great to work with us, even on the early mornings that we have to get here and film this because of other schedules.
Some people are a little tardy when it comes to starting time, but we're not saying anything about our camera guy.
We would call no names, and we would never point fingers at anybody, but verbally maybe darts. And we would also like to thank Farmers Telephone TV, because they of course show this on Thursday nights. If you're watching Thursday nights with us, thanks for showing and watching with us. And of course we also have the social media pages. We do have a new website, so there you go. It is moneytreetv.org. And
.org?
.org. Like an organization, I guess, even though we're not really organized.
Yeah,
Maybe
we
that's
are.
what it is.
You're the organized one. I'm just the tag along.
Well, that's pretty much true. So,
It is,
anyway,
it's right.
if we can, let's go ahead and start rolling into this.
Really?
Because I do, yes.
Okay,
I
no
do.
more just chatter. We're going to start.
Well, I mean, we could talk about, Sunday we went and ate for your birthday, and it was very good, and had a good time spending time with family and friends. And what's funny about that is Austin and Alex and I sat down there probably about 60% of the time and talked about their finances.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about what they need to do and approaches they need to take, and Roth IRA was thrown around a whole lot. So I was...
you might as well have invented the Roth IRA because you preach it. It's your stump.
that is
Roth
very
IRA,
true.
Roth IRA.
Well, if I could tell you that you could have, a 6 to 8% return, probably low end, but 6 to 8% return for the next 25, 30 years and get that money tax free, wouldn't that be something you would want to preach about? So
Yes.
And
you preached a few times.
I have. And sometimes we want to of course witness to people about eternal security. That's very important.
Yes.
But before you get to that eternity, let's talk to them about financial security. So
There you go.
that's what we try to do, and I think both of your boys were very receptive to what we were talking about.
I think they've watched their show a time or two.
I think they have too. I think they have too. And that's...
And by the way, we appreciate your comments. I was at
Sure.
the dentist yesterday with Mom and had some nice comments from people that work there. They've been watching our show, and
Awesome.
we appreciate you guys listening to us, and appreciate the intelligent one here sharing all the good knowledge.
That's definitely not true. But, I'll take the pat on the back. I actually talked to my dentist about that. I was there last week, and I talked to him about the Life of Money episode that we had. And he was like, I never thought about taxing my kids and putting it in a fund to teach them about taxes later on. You know, he said, I've just always teach them about tithing, which is important. But he said, I never thought about actually taxing them to teach them about taxes. So it's a good call.
Yep.
And help save money for textbooks.
And that's where we're going now. We're talking about back to school and the way you can save a little bit of money.
Right. So let's always have a good question. So let's say that you were going to go back to school shopping with your student.
How much? Child, you mean?
Your child. I always say that.
I'm like, you need
always
to get some
say
kids,
that.
I'm telling you.
I know. Maybe I didn't have enough coffee this morning. Not enough caffeine. So if you're going to go back to school shopping with your child, how much do you think you would spend roughly?
Way too much. Are you talking about
that
just
is a great numeric number, let me tell you.
Are you talking about just school supplies or clothes?
I'm talking about back to school shopping supplies. So this could include maybe a little bit of clothing, but
there's no little bit of clothing when you're talking about kids starting back to school.
Well, let me rephrase that question. You're making a budget for your back to school shopping. How much do you put in your budget?
Per child?
Per child.
Clothes and all?
Clothes and everything.
$500.
Whoa! Holy moly. David's a big spender. That's probably a little higher than the national average. Yeah. So you brought up a good point there, though, that I guess everybody's range differs. So when you got ready, you had 3 children. So when you got ready, I didn't say students, aren't you proud? So when you got ready to take your children shopping, you would lay out $1,500.
You asked me to set a goal. I didn't. Now that I think about it, no, I don't.
No, I mean you gave an answer, so that's exactly what we want you to do.
Well, I don't think you actually. Well, there was no budget then.
Okay, so you just went and you were like,
kids,
here's the debit card, go nuts.
Well, usually my wife did all that, so I don't.
So they did go nuts.
Nah, I didn't say that. I did not say that.
Sorry, Aunt Vicky.
I did not say that. You're making me sweat this time.
That's good. So let's go ahead and look at our first slide if we can.
Okay.
Looking at our first slide, we can see that according to NEA, who should know, they probably do a lot of research on this.
That's the National Education
Association, it is. Elementary students will cost you on average $200 per year. Now, as we can see on this same slide, middle school will be $330, and of course high school would be $375.
I don't think that includes clothing.
It may not. That's maybe just simply their supplies.
And fees.
Well, we haven't got to that yet.
Okay, well, I think you should include that.
Okay, well, I'm sure that if we included fees, it would be a lot higher because, as we know, there are fees included in going to school.
Yeah.
So, since 2007, this is the big thing. Since 2007, that's 10 years ago, the cost of back-to-school shopping and school supplies and those fees, that is fees included, has jumped 88%. So, the national average for inflation, typically the average we have is about 4%. Back to school supplies and school supplies in general has been about an 8.8% increase per year. That is huge.
That is huge.
So, when we say an 88% increase, think about in the next 10 years what it will cost for your students to go to school, your children, to go to school in 10 more years.
Well, and part of that is not funding public education to the point that it needs to be.
Right.
Therefore, you have to fundraise, fees, those kinds of things.
Well, and the sad part about that is just you brought up a great point that, and I have to give you kudos on that while we do have budgets that come down from states and local and things like that, this price that we're throwing out there includes the monies they supply, and then schools still have to fundraise on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Just for example, I'll throw this out there. Who pays the power bill at the schools?
You asking me what I personally understand?
Well, I mean, you can just be general if you want to, because I'll give you the answer that I've been told. Because in this show, when we do this, we research these things.
True.
So mom and dad, you put your child on the bus or you drop your child off at school, you expect them to have running water, lights. If they're sick, you expect to be able to call them or for them to be able to call you. All that cost, companies don't just offer that for free. So who pays for that?
Well, first of all, your tax dollars go for part of it, but
Right.
they don't pay all of it.
Right.
So therefore, you have the break store and the football gate tickets and
Right.
those kinds of things.
So what we look at Valley Head, and kind of the numbers I just roughly crunched, is that we're responsible for 10% of that cost in the utilities of water and power. Okay, so we have a population of, say, 470 students. That's K-12. We have to clear, let's go over our expenses, clear profit, $90 a day into our break store just to keep the lights and the water on. Now, that does not include the telephone, which the school is 100% responsible for.
Wow.
So parents, the reason why they fundraise, and I know you get tired of that, is because the budgetary things that those administrators are responsible for, they have to come up with the money for that. So now, in that, we haven't talked about toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning items, things like that. They've still got to pay for that at the local school. So if you get a back-to-school shopping list at Walmart, or you get it online through the Facebook pages, then they may have items on there that are like a wish list.
Hand soap.
Hand sanitizer, hand soap. They may have Clorox wipes. They may have Kleenexes. That's because there's not funding passed down to buy those items. And we have one or two choices there. Well, the legislature could say, all right, we're going to start supplying all of these items to every school, but we're going to have to raise taxes because, of course, those items are not free either.
Right.
So, parents, that's why you may find yourself seeing that 8% increase year to year when your student goes back to school is simply because we have to have those items in school. And it's necessary.
Well, one of the things years ago, I remember workbooks and things were such a big part.
Oh,
and part
yes.
of the reason for that is you either had to have the workbook or you had to have Xerox copies.
Yes.
Both
cost money.
Both cost money, and they were always complaining about how many copies you made.
Right.
But you're either going to have to make the copy or buy the workbook.
Right. And we have a preloaded number of copies at Valley Head. I'm not sure how each school in the county works, but I go through those fairly quickly because of transcript requests and college letters and everything that goes out. So we try to minimize that as much as possible, but there's still fees and there's still monies that need to be given there for those copies to be made. And it is, I know it has to be a strain for our legislators to try to sit down and decide how much money they're going to give to the schools. Now, I know there for a few years when things got kind of tight and the economy wasn't doing so great, that they cut the classroom monies from the teachers. So now we have that back in place, and that helps ease that burden. And parents, I know you may feel like it's a strain, and it is, but your teachers really do try to make the best of the money that they're given from the legislators, and they will really sit down with those catalogs, and they'll try to go through item by item and decide what they can get and what they can't.
What the best value is.
Right. So that's why we see the spending being so much, and I know it seems like we're going on and on about that, but there are going to be fees included also. If we can look at that slide one more time. Looking at that slide, would you like to give us the list of fees that we see that we have?
Science labs, agri-science fees, family and consumer science, business education fees, technical school fees.
Right.
For example, family and consumer science, if you've got that particular thing and you're having a kitchen and you're preparing food, the supplies for the kitchen, they've got to go buy them.
Right. It is actually up to our FACS teachers in the county to get in their vehicle, drive to the grocery store, and buy those items. So the fee does not pay for that. It actually pays for them going and getting the groceries themselves. That's what the fee goes towards because, of course, we know groceries can be expensive. They're not paid for their time outside of that.
Right.
So
and even the career and technical school, when the kids come there are fees to pay, and that are things they need for the classroom for different things. Plus, they also, like in auto body, auto mechanics, they have to buy the supplies to actually work on the cars or whatever it may be, or robotics. They're building the robots and welding. They're using the what do you call those things that they weld
torch,
with?
maybe.
The
MIG welder line. I know there's welding irons. Yeah, things like that.
Things like that they have to purchase. So.
Not a welder. You can tell.
I
Not
tried
my
it
expertise.
once. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Well, and even with like cosmetology, they're going to have the dyes or the kits. I know there's probably a kit they buy that has to do with all.
So everybody has something, the right implements and tools to work with.
Sure, and the good part of that is after you finish that program, that's your kit.
That's your kit.
So you can carry that with you if you decide to do that for a job one day. So I know there's perks to that. You know, with FACTS and with ag, there's tools, there's lumber, there's groceries and business tech. I know there may be programs they have to use that students need to pay for, and those students may still have access to that afterwards. I'm not sure how all that works, but just know, parents, that your teachers and our school system really tries to help save you money, but there's still going to be a cost, because at the end of the day, there's still going to be a need for paper. There's still going to be a need for pencil. If your student is taking Algebra 2 with Trig, they're probably going to need a high-end calculator. So there's going to be things that are needed there. And I know I always was very fortunate. I had parents who were more than happy to buy supplies, and then they would also kick in an additional supply, because you do have those students who can't afford all the supplies that are needed. So I was very fortunate with that. So parents, if you're going out there and you are blessed in life, throw another pack of pencils in your buggy. Some student may need that, or the teacher can always use those pencils. I promise you that.
That's true.
So now let's roll into how we can help parents, because that's
we're
what we're
for
here
a bargain.
to do. That's what we're here to do.
We are here.
We want to explain it to you, give you a little preface to it, and then we want to get to the meat of the matter, which is how can you find the back-to-school deals? How can you find those things?
Shopping guru.
So,
well, I don't want to say tightwad, but maybe frugal.
I'm pretty tight on money, but I like the word frugal better. That's a little bit softer of a blow, but I'm pretty tight with money. So, how can we help you save money on back-to-school shopping? How can David?
Look for sales.
Well, if we can, let's look at our second slide.
There you go.
Looking at our second slide, we see that this weekend, which is July 21st to July the 23rd, is the Alabama tax-free weekend. So parents, it is so important that you take advantage of this, because you can get certain supplies, certain equipment, things like that will be on the list that will actually be tax-free. Computers, clothing, there you go, clothing. Do not charge a sales tax. Now that doesn't always take care of all of it, but that will help eliminate some of the burden that you may have to pay if you wait till right before school starts.
Right.
And the state's working hard to do that. And again, those dates are July 21st to July 23rd. So the next thing we do, if we can segue into this, and we're going to have a slide that if we're not showing it now, that we'll bring back up and show you, look online.
Yes.
Amazon is a great place to go to, and when I looked at Amazon's things, they actually categorize everything by grade level. Now, if you go on Amazon and you're like, I need 5, they're probably not going to have 5 school lists. You need to get that from your local school.
Right.
But they have things broken down by grade level in segments. Not only that, but they also have the trendy items that are kind of the top sellers and things like that. And what's big for a middle school student may not be big for a high school student.
Right.
And we all know that. Now, I want to throw this in there. This is something Amazon started a few weeks ago. If you receive government assistance, Amazon gives you a discount on your Prime membership.
Wow.
So if you are looking to get that Prime membership, to get that free 2-day shipping, then you may look to see if you qualify for that. Also, and I found this site while I was doing the research for this. It's called Passions for Savings, and the web address there is passionforsavings.com. They do the work for you. They have an app. Now, here's the thing about sites like this. They have to generate funds to keep their site open, so they have advertisements on there. But they have everything categorized, everything's broken down, and you can even go in there. They offer coupons. They actually have a tab or a link on their site that's part of their website that's free items you can get right now. So they have freebies there. They have links to sellers also, so they have it broken down. Hey, if you go to this store, you can use this coupon and you can get this free, or whatever it may be. So check that site out.
I'll have to check that one out.
Passion for Savings. I will be doing a lot more looking on that site now that I have found it. Looks like a mom created that site, and when it comes,
coupons are big. Are we going to do a show about that?
We are. Our next show is going to be about couponing. We'll have a special guest come on and help us talk about that. I think she spends like $5 a month on their household supplies. So it's crazy.
I can't imagine.
I know, I couldn't either, because I spend more than that on the toilet paper that I buy. So I can't imagine. The last place I put on here on this slide, if we can look back at that, is Walmart. Now, the reason why I put Walmart on there, I'm a big advocate for Walmart's app. I know a lot of people don't like Walmart, but right now I feel like they've got a good thing going. They offer 2-day shipping. You don't have to have any kind of membership. Like with Amazon, you have to have the Prime membership, and there's a fee with that. But with Walmart's, it's a 2-day free shipping, and as long as you spend up to $35.
And you do a lot of that online shopping with Walmart.
I do. Every month, I buy all of my household supplies. And even a few things like dry goods, I even buy those all through the Walmart app. And, within 2 days, it's there.
And you don't have to make a trip and stand in line.
Right. And
you're not tempted with all the extra stuff.
Right. Well, where the convenience is, Mom and Dad, you get that back to school shopping list off the DeKalb County School Facebook page, or if you're in Jackson County, the Jackson County School Facebook page. You get that itemized list, and you can sit there with your Walmart app and your list beside you, and you can just check it off or whatever as you go, and you're not overbuying. You don't have to worry about little Johnny or little Susie wanting everything crazy there. And the good thing about Walmart is they have things bundled. So, like, let's say that your kid is a big Star Wars fan. I know that's kind of a thing that's coming back. There is a Star Wars bundle that you can find on the Walmart app, and you can buy that bundle, and it'll have everything together. If you want to do, I'm trying to think something that would be trendy for a girl. I have no idea. So if you if you have something that your little girl likes, this is My Little Pony.
Some girls like Star Wars.
Some girls like Star Wars too. Yeah, I'm not trying to be gender biased there, but I'm just thinking that if you have that certain item they're looking for, Walmart has those things bundled. They have the grade levels also. Of course, if you go to your local Walmart store, they have the little kiosk. You proud of that word? I didn't just say stand. They have their kiosk that has each school's supply list. So you can also find that there. And again, like Amazon, they may have the trendy items.
And you can also shop local. Your local stores in town advertise back to school sales.
They do.
Check those promotional flyers that come through the mail. Look online. Or just go to the store.
And it's great that you said that. Of course, we don't have a Target in our area, but there's other stores like Target that have those sales. Staples, we don't have one of those in our area, but also you can, or Rite Aid, Walgreens, and CVS. So there's actually local pharmaceutical type stores. You may even check with your local pharmacy that may sell those kind of things, that they may have a better deal than Walmart or Amazon. I know we always think that the big e-commerce store is your best buy, but sometimes it's not. Yeah. Sometimes your local stores, your mom and pops, are great. And of course, I'm a big advocate for buying local, because if all we have one day is Amazon, if that's all we have, then we're going to have a monopoly there, and they're going to raise the price. So it's always good to try to shop around and see what you can find.
In our local area, we've got Dollar Generals and Fred's.
Absolutely.
So be sure and stop and see those folks.
Patronize those folks. And the person that's going to be coming on and talking to us about couponing does not shop at Walmart. She does all of her shopping at Dollar General.
Really?
Yes, and that's part of, I think, her strategy. And I want to let her talk about that. But part of her strategy is I could actually drive 5 minutes, because they live in Henniger. I can drive 5 minutes down the road to my Dollar General. I'm supporting my local economy, and I'm getting better deals than if I drove to Fort Payne or to Scottsboro or Chattanooga somewhere. So it works out really good for them. And parents, the biggest thing is look for those discounts in your local community. Then if you can't find it, look online.
Yep. Just remember, we're trying to help you save some money getting ready for your kids to go back to school. Although my price shocked Dave about what I thought you might want to start with, I'm thinking about, we've been to the malls before. We've been looking for those certain pair of tennis shoes, or that certain name brand shirt or shorts, or with girls, there's more items to buy than just a shirt and a pair of pants.
Well, if you're looking for a particular item that's a shoe or something like that, I could see where $500 was a good price to throw out there, because
he was shocked a minute ago, and I know your blood pressure spiked, but I'm just saying,
kind of hot.
When you have children and they want to look and be part of that crowd rather than it's just life.
Well, it is, and the trendy things cost trendy money. So that's something to keep in mind.
That's a good quote. Trendy things cost trendy money.
Yeah. So, if you're just going to have a child who's a minimalist and they wear gray T-shirts every day, which what I would have probably done, you can save a lot of money. But
blue shirts.
But there you go. You know, I had a student who was like, this is a funny story, but I had a teacher come up to me one time and they're like, my kids call you the guy in the blue shirt because they say you wear a blue shirt all the time. So whether that was a good strategy or not, those kids remembered me, I guess.
I guess so.
Well,
now we're getting ready for quick picks.
We are getting ready for our quick picks. So, that's what I feel like we go so long without getting to talk about this because the stock market changes by day. I mean, it changes so much. So this is your way. Now remember, let us throw this disclaimer out there that we are not stock market analysts or gurus. We just simply try to give you good information that may help you in your investment strategies, of course.
And we do know our camera guy is always waiting for this segment.
Yes,
and his phone is out with the Robinhood
app. And I owe the man an apology because I should have gotten one of these to him Friday. Even though we're going to give it to you today, and there's still room to grow in one of these stocks, it really took a big jump yesterday, and I should have been quicker to pull the trigger on that. So let's go ahead and look at
he would just work us in, or is it me that's the problem?
I think you were the problem this time. David lives a very, very busy and active life. So let's go ahead and look at our stock market slide if we can. Looking at our pick for this week, the first one, I always have this on here, it seems like, is Orchard Island Capital. I have a large stake in this company, and that's not why I'm trying to get you to buy in, but it pays a 15% monthly dividend, and that's monthly. So every share that I own of this stock, it pays me 14 cents per share every month to own that. And so you can get a good dividend return out of that you might want to invest in something a little lower. I feel like it's a good buy at 10 to 10.10, $10 to $10.10. Right now it's under that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it may be above it. I looked yesterday afternoon. It was hovering around the $9.95 to $10.05 mark. And so that gave you good room to buy. Now, I would not buy over 10 to 10.15. That's too high. The next one is Patriot National. This is a bank, and it's under $2, or it was $1.95 to $2.15. It may be around that mark. They're offering a 53% dividend.
Oh my.
Now, the thing about that is, anytime a company offers 53% dividend, you better be careful. This bank is either going through restructuring. I know they have fired their CEO, and they've hired a new CEO, and it made the stock price jump. But be careful. Because if they're offering that high of a dividend, they're probably going to cut it in time because they can't be sustainable at that, or that stock is about to go out. So just buy that with caution. My next one, my dad is loving this right now. He is loving this. It's Liberty All-Star Equity Fund. USA is the symbol. It's a good buy at $5.75 to $5.80. It may even be higher than that, but Liberty All-Star Equity Fund is a very good growth. It has 16% growth since the beginning of the year.
Wow.
So that is a huge growth, and it pays a 2% dividend on top of that. I think within the next 5 years, if we could get to continue doing the money tree, in 5 years' time, we will see that buy price on that one be a whole lot more than what it is right now. Our next one, and this is the one that I'm so mad at myself for not getting to him, it's Axle RX Pharmaceuticals. Now, this is a pharmaceutical company that does like an acute pain medicine.
Mm-hmm.
They've just gotten their clearance to put this medicine out there to the public, which, of course, when you get that clearance, they're going to it's going to cause your stock to go up because they've been waiting. The good buy price at that is $2.50 to $2.60. I think today it may be at like $3 and some change. So I pulled the punch on that a little late, but their year-end estimated buy price is $7 a share.
Wow.
So even if you bought in today at $3 a share, now you're going to probably have to hold this because they took that big jump, and now they may see a slow, steady growth. And you could watch it and see. If you feel like $2.60 is a buy price for you, watch and see if they have negative earnings come out because their medicine hasn't been out yet, and then you could buy in. $7 is the target. The next one I have is in Pixion. The buy at 70 cents to 75 cents. Okay. Was approved for Army Consolidated by number 25. They could get more. That means they're putting software on Army laptops. They could get another bid in October. Watch that before October. If they do, you'll get a good gain on that. And my penny pick, real quick, and I know I'm going through these very fast, is Anacala Biologics. Whew, that's hard to say.
That's hard to say.
And their warrants. This is their warranted stock. I say buy at 15, sell at 17. That's what you got to do to make some money. They're an immune therapy company. That's the warrants on their stocks. Buy 15, sell 17. That's my pick on that.
And we so appreciate you guys listening to us on the Money Tree. We are so much out of time. But thanks to Dave for all of his hard work and all of our stock.
MoneyTreeTV.org.
Oh my gosh, he's singing this morning. We appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate Mountain Valley Newspaper.com, Farmers Telephone TV. And we hope you'll tell your friends about us, and we'll see you the next time.
Thank you, guys. And remember, this is important. To have financial peace, you must know the Prince of Peace.
See ya.